Hey cherubs, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. This video is sponsored by Aura and I'm very, very pleased to be able to say so. I can't wait to get into some of the Aura features with you later on in this video. I wanted this particular one to be just a little bit of a chill out area for witches that are just feeling deeply stressed right now. Maybe you have got a lot of different things going on. You know you want to throw some witchcraft at the issue, but you wouldn't even know where to begin. Maybe you feel like your mind is just very fried by all of the different priorities that you have going on. You're short on time. You might be short on energy. I really want to lock into a few different things that could help you to just get centered and start to feel like you are back with your witchhood and you're ready to take some kind of action that's not going to burn you out or really sort of like bust up everything else you've got going on for the rest of the day. I think all witches feel a deep sense of responsibility to use their craft in the service of themselves and others. You know, all witches live in the real world. We have a lot of shit going on day to day. And sometimes it can just be really difficult to anchor into our power and we can end up feeling completely overwhelmed and we're planning all kinds of different workings and different stuff that we could do to help. And I want to just come in at this moment, like just have this moment with you to say, calm down, let's chill, let's get centered. And we'll think about what you can do right at this moment that is not going to cost you the rest of your day's energy. And it's really going to put you back in touch with that sense of potency and stability that you need to get through whatever it is you're riding out right now. Okay, so that's it. It's just going to be a really warm, friendly video. We're going to have some tea together and I'm going to try to give you some inspiration and put you in more of a positive direction. Okay, we've all been there. We have all been there. So let's see if I can do anything for you today. The first thing that I want to suggest to you is something that is really, really basic, but it's something that I've had to remind myself of the entire way through my adult life. And that is that it can be very useful to focus on the breath. When your mind is racing and there is a lot going on and you're not sure where to place yourself, what to do, you're coming up with all kinds of different plans. You know, we become very kind of like head and body, right? The head is up here with everything going on and we're kind of living from the head. Does anybody else feel like they do this? I do this often. I'm a live from the neck up type of a girly and I completely forget about my vessel, you know, and the fact that I'm operating from the body, and it can be really grounding, centering, healing, and it can provide a lot of direction for you to actually drop into the body, you know, just really witness that you're in this physical vessel and there's a lot more going on than just the plans that are percolating in the dome. Okay, so I will ask you to drop into the body, go to the breath, the alpha and omega, the very, very reason that you're able to even have this human experience right now, and just focus on it. Just give it some time. Whenever I'm guiding people through something like a body scan meditation, for example, I've done a lot of body scan meditation guidance in my time as a professional witch. I never suggest to people that they really like slow their breathing down or take any space between the inhale and exhale. I literally just suggest that they sit with how they are organically breathing. Yes, slow the breathing down if it is rapid, you know, put some attention there, put some effort there. But really, we're not trying to do anything fancy. We're just focusing on the inhale and the exhale, and we're witnessing, we're being with that inhale and exhale. That can be incredibly grounding, incredibly centering. And on the subject of grounding and centering, if you want more advice on this, I did make a video just a short time ago on my channel explaining how witches work with energy and how they direct their personal energy and intention. So you might want to go over to that video as well. There's a lot of good things there that could help you out if you haven't seen that one. But yeah, focusing on the breath, a lot of the time that's going to be the very first, very most basic, but incredibly helpful thing that is going to really allow me to settle back into what is going on with me. Where am I right now? What is my agency in this moment? And just calmness, just sturdiness, you know, I need that sometimes. And focusing on the breath is the way in. It is the portal through which other things can begin to happen and get regulated and get organized in my system and in my headspace. Darlings, this video is sponsored by Aura. Aura is an incredible sleep and wellness app that's used by over 7 million people. It's won the Best of Apple award, and it's also won the Very Well Mind Online Therapy and Wellness award too. So very, very impressive. It just keeps going from strength to strength, this one. It has thousands of different meditations. It's got CBT, it's got coaching, it's got breath work and ASMR. There's so many different things. There's sleep stories. I could go on and on. It's an incredible little hub of wellness resources and tools. When I'm feeling really stressed, an app like Aura is so good because I can go in there and I can just find what I really need in that moment. I might need a meditation to just bring me back to center and help me to get focused. I might need some live coaching, in which case there are always options to get onto a live call with others and see a coach doing their thing. So there's just always something good that I can select if I feel like I need that extra little bit of help. Aura continues to be a very useful part of my wellness kit, and if you would like to try it out, you can be one of the first 500 people to click the link in the description, and that entitles you to a 1-month free trial of the app and 25% off if you choose to go on from there. So thank you very much, Aura, for sponsoring this video, and I'm just really delighted as always to be able to support this app. I think it's a really valuable and useful one to have on the phone. The next piece of advice for you, if you are a stressed out witch and you just do not know what to do right now, is grab hold of an object, okay? Just grab hold of something that's going to give you a sense of link to your witchhood, link to your pure intention, link to who you are as a human being or as a mystic, something that feels familiar, something that feels comforting, or something that offers potency, whatever you think the best possible medication could be at this point. So for me lately, I've been playing around a lot with my glass skull. I find this a very comforting piece, not only because of what it means, what it represents, right? I link it into my goddess work, but also it's just got all of these really lovely little dips and ridges on the teeth and the eyes that make it like, oh, such a sumptuous thing to hold. And it's also got that rainbow effect to it, so you know it makes sense for me. I also usually, if I'm stressed, am reaching for a rosary, guys. I collect rosaries. I have a shit ton of them. I do a lot of work with the Holy Mother, and for those of you who are patrons of mine, you know what time it is, okay? I pray 9-day novenas. I go around the rosary all the time and go through a set of mysteries when I'm feeling stressed. However, if I'm really feeling stressed, I'm probably not going to be going through praying a rosary. I'm just going to be playing. I'm just playing. I'm not praying, I'm playing, okay? So don't be afraid to just have something that you're not really putting any magical meaning or intention into in that moment. It's just something that, you know, I've got this piece of lapis here, lovely to hold, very calming, very cold. So when I'm stressed, I might also put it on my pulse points, you know? Just rub it between my hands, whatever the weather. This is the main poppet that I've been working with lately. She's lovely to hold. She's lovely to hold to me. She's lovely to have over my shoulder while I'm just, you know, trying to calm myself the fuck down, okay? Anything like that. You might also want to branch out a little bit, as well as objects of comfort, familiarity, and witchhood. Why don't you go for oils? You know, you could go for a nice perfume. I see one of my Lush perfumes over there. I've got some dragon's blood oil here that I love to put on my pulse points. So that's been coming out quite a bit lately. You know, you might want to go for a scent. You could also just go for some words of power, whatever is simple but strong and effective. You guys know, many of you know that some of my favorite words of power were said by the Holy Saint Joan of Arc. I am not afraid. I was born to do this. I am not afraid. I was born to do this. It's got such a lovely little rhythm to it, doesn't it? It just comes right off the tongue and it bounces right off of and onto the heart as you say it. Another phrase of power that I love to lock into when there's a lot going on and I need to come back to me, I need to come back to my witchhood, is part of a poem by Rumi. Walk out like a lion, like a rose. Walk out like a lion, like a rose. That just does something to me. So grab your words of power, grab your objects, grab your aromas that you need, something like that. Again, it's grounding and centering, but you're also beginning to link into symbols that represent that you are a witch and you have some power that you want to throw at the situation. If you've got 10 minutes to worry about what the hell you're going to do, then you've got 10 minutes to also be preparing yourself some tea, okay? I have some tea today. I just think it was very necessary. This one is a fireside blend with elderberries and peaches and stuff. Very lovely. So, you know, I think it's really awesome to have a bit of tea. Consecrate your tea. I think that's really a precious thing to do, right? So while you're boiling the kettle, while you're getting the tea leaves ready, whatever it happens to be, put your hands over the instruments that you're using and just whisper to the tea, program intention into the tea so that you know that when you're ingesting it, you're also ingesting that same intention. It's a nurturing thing to do. Again, it's a grounding thing to do. Doesn't have to be tea if you don't like it, but you guys know over here at Planet Magick, I'm obsessed with tea, okay? It's always been the way. I might as well have been born with a little teapot in my hand. All right. So, you know, just take the time to, if you're going to be worrying, you're going to be stressing out, do it with some tea. It is a very, very sacred infusion. Okay, we love a bit of it over here.
And would you like a cup of tea too, mate?
Nothing closer to my heart than a good cup of British char.
Address the priority need and try to drop your responsibility for doing everything for everyone and fixing everything right now today. Okay, I know that there's going to be at least a small handful of people who are watching this video and they're doing that very thing right now, and I'm giving you permission to stop. Just stop doing that. Think about what is the next thing that needs to be done? What is the immediate thing that needs to be thought of that you could throw some magic at, or you could put some witchy intention towards? And try not to go too big picture. Try not to go too 5-year plan, because that can really make your head into a serious scramble. And you can start thinking that everything is on you to sort out, and that you need to throw witchcraft at every single piece of this completely fucked up pie, whatever it happens to be. There could be many different things going on for you, or it could just be that you're at some kind of crisis point, some kind of meltdown moment. Maybe it's a mental health intrusion. Whatever the hell is going on for you, it is not your responsibility to fix everything and to make everything okay right now today. But what would be better is if you look at what is going on immediately in the next few hours. What is happening that you know that you're worried about, that has to get done? There's some kind of deadline, okay? There's some kind of responsibility there. What is the key emotion that is playing into things right now that is making everything harder? What is the thing that you can immediately direct witchcraft towards? And try to put everything else on the back burner. And definitely try to shave down your plans, okay? Once you've assessed the priority, it might be easier for you to do this. But I can tell you now, there have been so many times in my witchy reality where I've had the biggest plans. I've been like, you know what, this is a mother load of a problem. I need to throw everything at it. I've got to do this gigantic ritual. I've got to do cauldron work. I've got to do poppet work. I've got to do a sigil spell. I've got to do all of this. I've got to have all of these things. I've got to be in this mood. And I'm kind of visualizing myself into a bit of a black hole in terms of what's actually going to be happening right here, right now, with the resources I've got, with the clothes I'm fucking wearing. And it might not be ideal for me in relation to this incredible visualization I've got going on at some random abstract point in the future where my life is together and I've got all the time in the world. But whatever I can do right here, right now is going to be more effective because I can actually do it. It's not just some kind of like far off flowery plan, some kind of decadent vision, but it's actually something I'm putting my hands into right now. I'm taking hold of right now, and I'm doing in the moment. Next thing that it's really good to do when you are a stressed out magic maker and you're really just not sure what direction to go in, recall your energy from the catastrophizing and the visualizing, the worrying, you know, the sort of far flung kind of like future tripping that you're doing. Bring it all back from that. Bring it back from that. Pull it in. You can also pull it in from anything that is petty, anything that is taking up your time and energy and focus that you know has really got nothing to do with you. It is nothing that you can change. It is nothing that you can immediately control. Bring that life force back to you as well. Call it all back, sing it back in, pull it back in, literally sweep it back into you. Fan it back into you, however you're going to do it, because you're going to need it. You're going to need to stop squandering it essentially and start investing it. You're going to want to direct it towards whatever your priority is that you have assessed. So if you know that you're deeply stressed, for example, right? There's a lot going on and you are very kind of like on edge and tense because you know that soon you're going to have to leave the house, you're going to have to go to pick up the kids at school and they need to go to their after school activities. And at the moment, that is the thing that is really stressing you out, that needs to get done and that you really need your focus for, and you need a bit of self-love and a bit of witchy potency to get done. In that case, then you're going to want to stop worrying about things that are happening next week, things that are happening next month, things that some member of the family is doing because they've gone off on one and they're stressing everything out and they're doing all kinds of things to make problems. You might want to address that with witchcraft at some other point in time. But right now, what you're doing is you're calling your energy and your power and your focus back to you so you can do the school run, baby. So you can do the school run, show up for your kids, be there to support them, and that's what the witchcraft is for. So we're pulling it all in from these other places where it's not really making sense and it's not making a difference, and instead we're going to direct it towards giving us the power to do the next thing that needs to get done, that actually really is on the table. It actually really is in the plans right now, and we're worried about doing it. Well, then let's direct our witchy intention towards that. Let's power up to do that thing. Next thing that I fully recommend that you do when you're feeling stressed out, and this is really important, you're going to think of everything mundane that is happening in a witchy context, right? So for example, let's stay with the school run idea. Let's say that soon you're going to have to get in the car and you're going to have to drive to go and get the children, okay? The drive is going to become witchy. Everything is going to become symbolic of what it is that you need, that you're calling in, and what it is that you are, that you know you need to celebrate. So grabbing your keys and putting your keys in your hand, that is now a representation of the sovereignty that you are taking back and the power that you have to decide what happens next, all right? When you walk out and you go down the pathway, that path is a representation of your witchhood. It's glistening before you, representing all of the many days that you have walked it so far and the rest of your life as you walk it forward. So the path is a celebration of your pathway of witchhood. When you get in the car and you turn the engine on, that's your power. When you hear the purr of the engine, that's going to be like hearing a gong in meditation or something. It's just going to go all through your body. It's going to ripple through and it's going to bring you back into vitality, right? So this is a very, very mundane, common thing that a lot of people have to do every day. But suddenly it's all become symbolic. It's all become deeply, deeply magical. And that makes it majestic and it gives it an entirely different meaning. I don't care if you're doing your homework, if you're fixing the car, if you're taking your dog to the groomers. I don't care if you're on hold to speak with a company to get something sorted out. Whatever mundane task you're doing, whatever everyday bread and butter thing is going on, you can infuse it with magical meaning and make it into an act of witchhood when that needs to happen. So when you're thinking about the tasks that you've got on your plate and you're thinking, I wish I had time to witch. I do not have time to witch about this. I don't have energy to witch about this. Honey, you're about to witch about it through doing whatever mundane thing you're doing, but making it magical. What mundane thing needs to be made magical today? My green witches, my kitchen witches, get at me in the comments, because I know that you spend a lot of time doing seemingly very mundane, ordinary things in the kitchen, but making them magical. I know that all my witches that are in the garden, you know, taking their cuttings from plants, checking the soil, all that kind of thing, I know that a lot of that is magical for you. If somebody looks over your garden fence and they see you gardening, to them, you're just somebody gardening, but I know that you are in magic making mode. So there are lots of different types of witchhood and perspectives on witchhood that lean us into the fact that, like, everyday things can also be magical acts. Everyday tasks can also be opportunities for sorcery. I'm sorry if you can hear that little clicking, but I have a heater on in my room because I need the extra warmth, okay? The final thing I want to suggest for all you stressed out witches out there is don't forget to call in the cavalry. And I know that there is a lot of focus on many different witchy channels and in many witchy books about the value of calling in your ancestors, your spirit guides, your deities, the beings, the disembodied intelligences that you work with. But if you do not work with anything like that, if you literally work with the power and the forces of nature itself, then don't think that you're left out of this last piece of advice, because you're really, really not, okay? You can call in the power of the elements. You can call in the land spirits or the spirit of the land, okay? You can work with the notion of the roots of a tree, the branches of a tree, you know, the migration and the interaction of birds, bird call. You can work with all kinds of different things. Whatever symbolizes to you the potency that you want to put into something and the fact that you are also a force of nature, not divorced from nature, but actually a part of the rolling and the unfolding of nature itself. You can bring that in. So when I'm saying call in the cavalry, I'm not just talking to people who work with a god, who can bring in an ancient being to help them. I'm also talking to you magic makers who do not do that. You do not work with beings, but that doesn't matter. You work with something. What is it that you work with? Call in that potency, request that assistance. Know that you are doing that with those powers and those wisdoms and forces alongside you. That can really give you a big boost. There's so many things I've done in my life and so many things, frankly, that I've survived in my life. And if you know my story, you know my story, okay? There's so many times that I've risen to the occasion only because I requested the presence of the Holy Mother. I requested the presence of Aslan. I requested the presence of Oscar Wilde, baby. I have called in the energy and the strength and the power of the four elements. For sure I have. I'm a tarot reader and I'm a witch. You think I haven't worked with those elemental energies? Of course I have. I have embodied them. I have allowed them to help me to endure. So whatever it is that you need, go to it. Request the assistance of it. Know that you're walking alongside it and working with it, and you are not alone in whatever it is that you've next got to take on. Whatever your next challenge is, you are moving alongside some incredible forces that have your back. Darling ones, thank you so much for coming to my channel and imbibing a little bit of advice from me as a witch who has been very stressed out to another witch who maybe at this very moment is incredibly stressed out. Please know that the tools are there. You can start simple and small, get that priority in order, lock your energy in, and do what you've got to do to survive and thrive. Please check out Aura. Don't forget, I will leave the link down below for you. They're an incredible, incredible app, and there is just so much goodness on there that you can use when you are feeling stressed. I'll be back with more videos soon, guys, so take care until then. And in the meantime, you can check out my Patreon and go to the online store to work with me one-on-one. Much love and blessed be. Mwah.